Hey guys, today I want to talk about an article that was in truthdig.com written by Chris Hedges about a week or so ago called The Elites Won't Save Us. And what Chris Hedges, who wrote the book Death of the Liberal Class, which I just got actually from the library, and I'm going to start reading it. This whole article is how the liberal elites, mainly the Democratic Party, they're not going to save us from the insanity of Trump. It's a very lengthy article, and I'll put the link to the full article in the show notes. I'm starting to do that now, so to give you more information. And basically, it goes into what he talks about is this 4 decades long assault on democratic institutions by corporations. And it's slowly, and I've been talking about, it's all related, everything I'm talking about, all these videos, and it's been the deregulation of everything. The labor unions are pretty much spent. Public broadcasting and the arts their funding has been cut to where they're barely anything. The courts are stacked with corporate judges. This was carried on even through, and Obama did the same thing. Like Obama was all, Hopi changerman, and he didn't do much of it either. That's why it's so disappointing, because we thought he was going to he was the answer to the culmination of all of the Bush stuff, and not much of it has changed. And so this article goes into great detail. Money has replaced the vote. All of the democratic institutions, the courts, the media that were there, like the free press, was there for a reason. There was a great interview with JFK that I think MSNBC played. Anyway, I saw it on Twitter and I retweeted it. An interview with JFK talking about, there's a lot in the press that I don't like because it's very critical of me, but it's important and we need the free press. And while what happens, because what this article goes into, and I agree with Hedges, because when the corporations have bought out everything, the media is corporate now, the court system is corporate, the political parties are corporate, that then it gives a guy like Trump, he's free rein to act and be as much of a fascist as he wants to be. When he says, that the media is the opposition party, and the media is all up in arms about this. But I mean, they've done this hashtag not the enemy, but like, hey man, they helped make this fucking happen. The media that does their fear reporting, breaking news, and it's always to keep you, the story news is always about keeping us scared, keep us all scared, and you look at who's buying ad time on the big channels, and of course nobody believes them. They don't believe them, and so you're giving Trump all of this ammunition. And then when the Ninth District Court blocked his travel ban, he's like, these federal judges, they're no good, I mean, that's all Trump has been doing. And it's because the elites, the democratic elites, have let this happen, because the deep state, the corporate state, or the deep state, as Hedges and others like to call it, doesn't need or care about democracy. They just need power. And the article goes into, and he interviews Ralph Nader in the article, and Nader's contention, and I don't know if it's right or not, but it's all speculation at this point, is that there's talk, and I've even talked about it, and I still think this is that they might impeach Trump. The right would impeach Trump, and if he threatens their power or their money. But he's like, even that, the window is closing on that. And I don't know. I think they're hoping to probably let Trump keep being a lunatic and impeach him, because Pence is like, they got Pence for this very reason. He is just the perfect Republican poster boy. He's clean cut. He says all the right things. He talks in America, and he is filling positions with Christian right right-wing Christians, that's Pence's whole MO, which is great for the Republican Party. Trump, I don't even know if he believes in any religion at all. So the article, here's a great quote from Ralph Nader that Hedges interviewed via phone for this article. He said, quote, "The biggest asset Trump has is the decadent, clueless, narcissistic, corporate indentured, warmongering Democratic Party," which is absolutely true. Because that's the thing, and I've talked about this on the show before. If you're expecting the Democratic Party to bail us, to help thwart Trump, we're in trouble, because they're already, this is being recorded on Friday, February 24th. So tomorrow, Saturday the 25th, they're voting, and they're already, the Democratic power is really pushing to get Tom Perez in there. And Saban, who is a very pro-Israeli billionaire, has given so much money to the Democratic Party and to Clinton, Hillary Clinton specifically. He is just openly anti-Muslim. And so Keith Ellison is a Muslim, and Saban is just like, I don't want this guy in there at all. So he's been blocking this. And that's why this article is like, don't expect the Democratic Party to save you, because where the hope comes from, according to Hedges, is in the numerous protests. And this is where I see hope too, is, and I've talked about it again, the people showing up at town halls. Have town halls ever been this flooded with people all across the country? And they're not just going after Republican leaders. They're heckling and speaking out against the Democrat. They're going after both. I mean, that woman in Arkansas that said, "I'm not a paid protester. I live in Arkansas. My husband is dying of cancer, and how are you going to fix this?" She said. That was great. And that's what Hedges is saying. If we're waiting for the democratic institutions to do anything, they won't. The unions aren't, none of them, because they're all been gutted or bought out by the corporation. Then he talks about the 2.5 million civil servants. So what Hedges is saying is we need to just resist, and in some cases just not cooperate, not do it. The civil servant thing is very interesting, because if all of the civil servants just stop, or the majority of them, 2.5 million of them, just don't abide by Trump's laws, then he's in trouble. And he knew this going in, which is why it was such a weird thing when he first got sworn in. But he froze hiring and reinstated an obscure 1876 rule that allows Congress to slash salaries of federal workers. He fired Sally Yates. That's what that was all about. So that if any civil servants just go, no, that's why like all of these rogue accounts with the national parks and Nassau, because Trump is trying to tell them you can't do this. So they've started. So it needs to be protests like that, because this is the other thing that Nader said. Trump is a weak autocrat, and opposition has had more effect on him than a normal person of power. So the fear is, what's going to happen? Trump seems like his kind of wheels are coming off the wagon, but they will consolidate power if we have a crisis, be it a real one or manufactured. So that's what's scary. Why the window is closing, according to Hedges, on getting Trump out of there and doing something about it. Because if there is a real crisis, let's say there's a big terrorist attack, Trump is going to use that to like, I'm taking control of everything. I'm doing it for security, or a financial meltdown. The only problem with a financial meltdown is if it happens and if it's tied to Trump, then a bunch of his supporters might bail on him, and then he might be in trouble. But in terms of him just using a crisis as a means of taking away personal freedoms and personal liberties, this is what, fascist, totalitarian, they've always done this. They've always manufactured a crisis and then take away a bunch. So that's the fear. But this is the thing I'll leave you with that Hedges says. He goes, sustained nationwide popular uprising of nonviolent obstruction and non-cooperation is the only weapon left. And I think that's the key. So everybody keep doing what you're doing, man. Protest, write, go to town hall meetings, sign up, just don't participate. Don't give them your money, divest from the banks. That's the only way we're going to have to stop them. So thank you guys for watching. Like and hit the subscribe. And again, I put the full article in the show notes. And also, we've got a Patreon page. So the link to the Patreon page. So I want to do more of these. You can support me for as little as $2 a month. There's a link to my Patreon page and what we're trying to get, the goals and stuff we're trying to get. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to keep looking for the truth, and I hope you will as well.